Doctor gave me this camera pill to see my digestive system. This garlic that doesn't have separate cloves, it's just one solid piece. Gold Depository at the New York Federal Reserve, 1959. 16 years after the death of Nicole Van Den Hurk, her stepbrother Andy falsely confessed to killing her to get her body exhumed for DNA testing, which led to the arrest and prosecution of her attacker. Andy believed that his father was responsible for Nicole's death. This is Harrison Okene. His tugboat capsized 20 miles off the coast of Nigeria and sank to the bottom of the ocean. He remained in darkness for 3 days. He was discovered alive by divers, who were sent to recover dead bodies. Salvador Alvarenga, a 36-year-old fisherman, drifted more than 10,000 kilometers from Mexico, was found washed up on the shore spending 438 at sea. Jonathan Lee Riches has sued over 4,000 companies and individuals, and holds the world record for the largest amount of lawsuits filed, including suits against Bill Gates and Pope Benedict XVI. When he found out that he held the record, he sued Guinness. This truck carrying nothing but a toy dump truck. Nicole Van Den Hurk, a talented young Bitcoin pioneer, tweeted on October 28 that intelligence services were coming to assassinate him. A few hours later, he was discovered dead on a beach in Puerto Rico. 4th Bitcoin billionaire discovered dead. There is a very rare condition called Anton syndrome, in which a person becomes blind. However, they are unaware of it and will deny it, as their brain generates false visual images so they continue to believe that they can see. When you see something like this, don't be afraid. Don't call the firefighters or the police. Don't move and don't kill them. These are just bees traveling and stopping for just 24 hours. During British rule, when electricity did not exist, the British still wanted to have fans to keep them cool at night. They opted to have workers whose job was to keep the fans moving even at night. A father designs a headstone for his wheelchair-bound son, depicting him free of his earthly burdens. Artist Ben Moran spent 100 hours working on this book cover image, only to be accused of using AI. On February 8, 1943, Nazis hung 17-year-old Lipa Radi for being a Yugoslavian partisan during World War II. When they asked her the names of her companions, she replied, "You will know them when they come to avenge me." Richard Branson left school at 15. His headmaster said he'd either go to prison or become a millionaire. Genghis Khan would marry off a daughter to the king of an allied nation. Then he would assign his new son-in-law to military duty in the Mongol Wars, while his daughter took over the rule. Most sons-in-law died in combat, giving his daughters complete control of these nations. When the Nazis burned Sigmund Freud's books, he said, "What progress we are making. In the Middle Ages, they would have burned me. Now, they are content with burning my books." An airman being captured by Vietnamese in truck batch Lake Hanoi in 1967. The airman is John McCain. A treehouse built of mirrors to camouflage itself, built by German artist Eckhard Altenberger. Housing ad from 1955. On Marajo Island in Brazil, military police patrol the streets on water buffaloes. Lawrence Turod named himself professionally as Mr. T because he hated how his father, uncle, and brother who returned from Vietnam were disrespectfully called boy by whites. He wanted the first word from everybody's mouth to be Mr. when speaking to him. 44-year-old Ugandan woman, Miriam Nabatanzi, had given birth to 44 children by the time she was 36. She has 3 sets of quadruplets, 4 sets of triplets and 6 sets of twins. She has a genetic condition that makes her release multiple eggs in a cycle. They have medals and orders in the Russian Orthodox Church. Meet Amina Rependeva, a Chechen girl who is admired for her unusual beauty. She is diagnosed with 2 rare genetic conditions, albinism, in which she lacks the melanin pigment, making her skin and hair extremely white, and heterochromia, in which her eyes are different in color. In 1970s, Jerry Lawson created the first home gaming console that used cartridges instead of having games built directly into the hardware. His groundbreaking technology became the foundation for Atari, Nintendo, and Sega. Jerry Lawson, a self-taught engineer, gave us video game cartridges. Moonshiners liked this special type of corn. It made excellent moonshine. I make art out of found pebbles. This is Shakespeare with a beech nut beard. Flemish giant rabbit. Dog included for scale. A teardrop trailer of my own design and build. Basically a 2-bedroom apartment on wheels in 60 SF. Separate bathroom tent with toilet and shower stalls under the floor. 395-year-old bonsai tree that survived the 1945 Hiroshima bombing. This is the complaint tablet to Ienasi. It is a complaint letter written in 1750 BCE to a merchant named Ienasi from a customer named Nanny. Nanny talks about how they were delivered the wrong grade of copper. It's the oldest customer complaint. Gardener's art in the Montreal Botanical Gardens. An insanely beautiful horse named Alden. Convenience store 100 meters up for rock climbers in China. Dan MacCoy and his 8.41 pound world record breaking giant tomato. In 1996, a mother cat rescued all 5 of her kittens from a building burning in New York City. She walked through flames 5 times to rescue each one by one before collapsing unconscious. She later regained consciousness and was reunited with her kittens. Camel haircut competition in India. The ancient city of Derinkuyu, Turkey. This guy made a costume for his horse. Wolves and ravens have a special relationship. When ravens find a dead animal, they make a lot of noise to draw the attention of wolves. The wolves then open up the hide and provide carrion for the ravens. Ravens also interact and play with wolf pups and yearlings, and experts think that individual ravens often develop special bonds with individual wolves within a pack. This cloud looks like a eagle catching a fish. New Windows search bar. Files. What are files? Want me to search the internet? With Bing. Finding all I need with curiosity. Sweet relief. Really big loaves of bread. A beautiful baby goat named Simba was born with 19-inch long ears, 48 centimeters, in Karachi, Pakistan. This is the Interceptor, an autonomous vessel that assists in the cleaning the world's rivers. The Interceptor can extract 50,000 kilograms of plastic per day. During the filming of Poltergeist, 1982, the clown doll nearly really killed Robbie due to an animatronic error, where the clown's arm constricted too tightly around his neck. When the actor started screaming and protesting he couldn't breathe, Spielberg thought he was acting. 19th century vampire slayer kit in violin case. This is Termitomyces titanicus, also found in West Africa, the largest edible fungus in the world. My dad had found drawings I made when I was 7 or 8, so I decided to redraw them. It is as fun as 20 years ago. 22-year-old Neil Leifer took this photo in 1965, when everyone shot in bulk and white film. Leifer chose to shoot in color, which required strobe lights that took ages to recharge. This was the only photo he took, and immortalized between Ali's legs is Leifer's colleague, Herb Schaffman, looking up from his camera. A World War I veteran amputee, fitted with a welding arm, 1920. Letter written by Emma Hawke for her husband while she was institutionalized in a mental hospital. The letter only consists of words come back and come. Tourburg Albabas, a massive abandoned town of Disney-esque castles. This is the industrial black metal band Siklua from Belarus. A dancer with a removable crocodile helmet from Mexico, Colima culture, 300 BC to 300 AD. Oxford in 1810 and 2015. This is how history, culture, and traditions are preserved. Oxford 1810. Oxford 2015. When the last mammoth died, the oldest tree in the world was already 1,000 years old. Bill Gates at 22, arrested for driving without a license and failing to stop at a stop sign 1977. Deep sea creatures under an electron microscope. Lobster moth caterpillar. A 3,300-year-old car bridge is still in use today, Arca Deco Bridge, BC. It was built between 1300 and 1190, making it one of the oldest and still used arch bridges still in existence. Thomas Fuller, an African sold into slavery in 1724 at the age of 14, was sometimes known as the Virginia Calculator for his extraordinary ability to solve complex math problems in his head. Dank Dose chicken or the dragon chicken is one of the world's most expensive chicken breeds. Can reach up to $3,500 per chicken. It's from Vietnam and is a delicacy. World War II. A horse wearing a gas mask in England, March 27, 1940. My Lego Ideas Design Sweet Retreat reveals what living in a 3-tier wedding cake looks like. By reaching 10,000 supporters, my model will get the chance of becoming an official Lego set. Sweet Retreat. Living in a wedding cake. The car crash that took James Dean's life, September 30th, 1955. 19th century Japanese firefighters' clothing. Athena, daughter of Zeus, was a goddess of wisdom, handicraft, and warfare. Her warfare skills and activities are widely described in Greek mythology/religion. Renaissance, a period formed by non-Greek Europeans, reduced her to a symbol of wisdom and arts, taking away her warfare part. The paint on this building matches the color of the sky. During the storms in California, a giant eucalyptus tree fell on this house and cut it in half. Damage of the train bridge in Fillmore, California on January 10, 2023. A recent poll of over 1,700 leading AI researchers believe AI could become sentient and reach singularity as soon as 2050. Was messing around with his cash register in a scrapyard kinda store, looked at the price tag, and realized it was the real thing. Hummingbird moths can grow up to 2.5 inches and some species can fly at 12 miles per hour with a rapid wing beat of 70 beats per second. Random key I found in the grass turned out to be an antique skeleton key. A old photo of the former Langhorne Speedway. Microscopic pond organism, circled, that used a clump of dead algae as a hiding spot. This man spoke with every parent in Uvalde, Texas, to build personalized caskets for all 19 children who were killed. His name is Trey Ganem. This homeless man's rabbit was thrown over a bridge by a passerby, and he immediately jumped into the river to save her. He won an award, was given animal food and a job, and the passerby was charged with animal cruelty. Syrian archaeologist Khalil Al-Assad, who devoted his life to the excavation and restoration of Palmyra, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. He was beheaded by ICE after refusing to disclose the location of ancient artifacts, despite a month of culture. He died a hero of heritage protection. The Russian 74th Motorized Rifle Brigade, whole platoon of Russian soldiers surrendered to Ukrainian forces in Chernihiv. No one thought we were going to kill Russian officer tells. In 1980 the FBI formed a fake company and attempted to bribe members of Congress. Nearly 25% of those tested accepted the bribe and were converted. After Colonel Shaw died in battle, Confederates buried him in a mass grave as an insult for leading black soldiers. Union troops tried to recover his body, but his father sent a letter saying we would not have his body removed from where it lies surrounded by his brave and devoted soldiers. Vitaly Skakin is a hero after sacrificing his life to blow up the Henochesky Bridge. The bridge was mined but a Russian column was advancing, and there was no time to detonate it remotely. Skakin radioed his unit and told them he would do it manually, saying goodbye. The madman actually did it. Minister of Digital Information of Ukraine Mikhailo Fedorov said that Starlink equipment from Elon Musk has already arrived in the country. A company in Japan gives employees who don't smoke an extra 6 vacation days every year to make up for cigarette breaks. The company found the new policy gave a lot of employees the push to finally quit snow skiing. Cape Cod lobster diver giving a thumbs up in his hospital bed after being swallowed and spit out of a humpback whale. CIA revealed a heart attack gun in 1975. A battery-operated gun which fired a dart of frozen water and shellfish toxin. Once inside the body it would melt, leaving only a small red mark on the victim where it entered. The official cause of death would always be a heart attack. Self-made millionaire Harris Rosen adopted a Florida neighborhood called Tangelo Park, cut the crime rate in half, and increased the high school graduation rate from 25% to 100% by giving everyone free daycare and all high school graduates scholarships. This is FBI agent Robert Hansen. He was tasked to find a mole within the FBI after the FBI's moles in the KGB were caught. Robert Hansen was the mole and had been working with the KGB since 1979. In 1922, at the University of Toronto, scientists went to a hospital ward with children who were comatose and dying from diabetic ketoacidosis. Imagine a room full of parents sitting at the bedside waiting for the inevitable death of their child. The scientists went from bed to bed and injected the children with the new purified extract, insulin. As they began to inject the last comatose child, the first child injected began to awaken. One by one, all of the children awoke from their diabetic comas. A room of death and gloom became a place of joy and hope. An open-air school in 1957, Netherlands. In the beginning of the 20th century, a movement towards open-air schools took place in Europe. Classes were taught in forests so that students would benefit physically and mentally from clean air and sunlight. An American prisoner of war was nicknamed the Incredibly Stupid One by his Vietnamese captors. Upon returning to the US, he provided the names of over 200 prisoners of war, which he had memorized to the tune of Old MacDonald Had a Farm. Tonda Dickerson, A waitress was tipped a lottery ticket and won $10 million in 1999. Soon after, she was then sued by her colleagues for their share, claiming that any tickets given as a tip was to be equally shared. Then she was sued by the man who tipped her the ticket, claiming that he was promised if she won, she would buy him a truck. Then she was kidnapped by her ex-husband, which ended up Dickerson shooting him in the chest. Then she went to court against the IRS, which demanded about $1 million in gift tax, on top of income taxes. A minimalist drawing that represents closeness over time. Best friend childhood. Best friend college. Sibling. Parent. First love. Friend with benefits. Someone you meet at the wrong time, then re-meet at the right one. One night stand. Therapist. Dog. Nirvana played a concert in Buenos Aires where the crowd threw mud and trash at the all-female opening act. Kurt Cobain was so upset, he sabotaged the show by playing lesser-known songs and teased hit songs such as Smells Like Teen Spirit without actually playing them. When filming the final scene in Kingpin where Bill Murray's character bowls 3 strikes in a row, Murray actually did bowl 3 strikes in a row on the first try. His celebrations and the crowd going wild were both genuine. No name is the gem of Canada. Every product is so unbelievably ominous, I really laugh my ace off every time I go shopping. Cola, cocoa, apple beverage, mayonnaise. I feel like people do not fully understand how much life changed for our species between 1900 and 2000. I still struggle to comprehend it. These events are 66 years apart.